Jalen Rose. I'm David Jacoby.
What
We
up,
are
y'all?
Jalen and Jacoby. What is it that we do?
We give the people what they want.
Of course, we will discuss whether or not the NBA players should join the bubble amidst everything that's happening in this nation. But we start with some breaking news about NFL superstar Ezekiel Elliott. His agent confirmed to the NFL Network, that was then confirmed by ESPN, that he did test positive for the COVID-19 coronavirus. Jalen, how do you think that will impact the season as we head into training camp?
No reason to panic at all. Each sport has to deal with this independently. And for Major League Baseball and the NFL, neither one of their situations has started yet for different reasons. MLB is based on labor, NFL just based on time. And if they had to push training camps and mini camps back, if they had to push the start of the season back, they have plenty of time to do that. He's not going to be the only person clearly in the NFL of 1,300 people, including coaches and staff, to catch coronavirus. So those dates right there are arbitrary. They're on the calendar, but they're arbitrary. To be continued.
I mean, for the last few months, there's been a lot of discussion of what the new normal is. And I think that we all just have to come to the realization that in sports, the new normal is that from time to time, the players that we love to watch are not going to be able to play because they will test positive. And we wish Ezekiel Elliott the best health and recovery. But the NBA is having a little trouble getting restarted for different reasons. It is time for the NBA bubble trouble. Jalen, there were a lot of voices over the weekend from NBA players, both current and former, that are suggesting that the NBA players should consider not going into the bubble because that could distract or take away from the fight for equality and against social injustice. What do you think?
This is a conversation that has plagued Black American people who work in corporate America, sports and entertainment for a very long time. You see it play out in certain situations like Tommy Smith and John Carlos at the Olympics, of where we intersect what's happening in our lives in society versus do what we were initially brought here to do 500 years. That's be labor and entertain. And so now it's a crossroads when you see the tragic killing of George Floyd on the internet. The revolution is now being televised, almost 9 minutes. And so each sport, to me, Jacoby, has their own independence as it relates to their Black allegiance. And here's what I mean. In the NFL, Colin Kaepernick, one of their own, took a knee, and it was literally a symbol if you look at the pictures that happened when George Floyd was killed. So now you're going to see more players in the NFL who now have the courage, because they know they're not going to lose their jobs. They know that they may not lose sponsorships. And you won't see just 12 people this year taking a knee. You're going to see multiple people taking a knee. Where in the NBA, one of our brothers is in this fight, Steven Jackson, and affectionately known as Twin, with George Floyd. And so the pain and the anguish that not only he and the Floyd family is dealing with, there's also a pain and the burden that we just carry as people. That really hurts. Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, Trayvon Martin. What about the lynching that took place down south? Okay, I could go on and on and on. And so now it's what can we do to graduate the movement, not necessarily take away from it. And so I feel on both stages, you can still create your voice and your power. But this is a unique situation because you have to be quarantined. And for me, Jacoby, to be honest, when all of us have been quarantining these last 2 or 3 months, guess what? You're not mobile. And that's what the movement is. You see people marching, you see people protesting, you see activity. The one thing about it is once you enter that bubble, it does limit your activity for the movement. And it will, as they're saying, become a distraction, because you know why? Instead of right now talking about that, we'd be probably talking about the score of the game or something that happened affiliated with it.
See, now, I think this is very complex, and I don't even know where I stand on this, but I do want to sort of echo what you just said. Let's say we are playing games, and we are just focused on the games themselves, and it will become a distraction for something much bigger than basketball, which is justice. However, the other side of that is, if there is so much focus on these games and there's so much media attention on these games, could that not then be a very effective platform, post-game press conferences, other gestures of solidarity with the Black Lives movement, the Black Lives Matters movement, that would actually elevate the fight for equality instead of distract from it? Which way do you stand on that?
All situations in sports, again, aren't created equal. Like Bubba Wallace got a long way to go. He got a really long way to go in NASCAR, right? The MLB, 7-8% black, has a really long way to go. You haven't really seen that level of outspoken solidarity for the Black Lives movement from that sport. But in the sports that are predominantly black, you have to use your voice. And if you can mobilize, do so. And there is a running theory that using the NBA stage is the biggest platform for these players. I'm going to deny that this year because it's a unique circumstance in Orlando after a pandemic in a bubble. So therefore, if you're not mobile and you're hamstrung, the voices of like a LeBron James is really sitting still for 3 months. And we will be talking more about his points, rebounds, and assists than his More Than a Vote initiative that I'm a part of as well. So it can be complex, but here's the other thing. The players in those sports, Jacoby, are going to feel more pain because it's more people that look like George Floyd playing in those sports. There's an anguish, there's a depression that comes with constantly watching these scenarios play itself out. And if Steven Jackson was in the league, just like many of us when we have a death in the family, he probably would not be able to perform psychologically and emotionally because there's so many things happening in his personal life.
Do you suggest that players should not play the rest of the season in Orlando?
That's a tough call. If I had to answer yes or no, I just go back to what the Giants over my shoulders would do. What would Kareem, Tim Brown, Lou Alcindor, Muhammad Ali, what would they do? And you know the answer to that question, Jacoby? They wouldn't play.
Well, this question doesn't need to be answered right now. Michelle Roberts of the NBA PA is working on a way to sort of reinstate the league while also sort of continuing to fight for the Black Lives Matter movement. But one voice that sort of cut through everything and with some hard truth was that of Pat Beverly. Pat Beverly took to Twitter during all of this discussion, and he said, "Hoopers, say what y'all want. If LeBron James said he hooping, we all hooping. Not personal, only business." What does that say to you?
Well, it says to me that when he sent that tweet, he looked down at his phone and had a lot of teammates like, seriously? Like, LeBron? Like, you know that we might face them in the Western Conference Finals, right? But what I appreciate is the movement is bigger than that. And I like how he added stay woke because this is a time of social and political consciousness. And so if the players feel like they can play the game that they love, continue to take care of their families and entertain their fans and be healthy doing so in a quarantine situation, enjoy the game that you love. And so it will be interesting to see how the effects of players who are on different squads take to going to being quarantined, Jacoby. I'm trying to let everybody know. Being an athlete is not an essential business. The people who are packing your groceries at the store would love to not be putting their health at risk, except they need to pay their bills to take care of their families. It's different when you're an NBA player and you're on a 7-seeded team and you already played 80% of the season, lost 25% of your money. You can't see your family for 6 or 7 weeks, and or you might contract it, and you might give it to somebody else, and or you may take it back to your family. These are serious health concerns that are happening with the coronavirus. So it's a duality that's taking place also with the social unrest.
There's the social unrest, there's the health concerns, there's so much at stake. We've only heard from a handful of voices, and I'm sure as the week goes on, we'll hear from many more, including King James, as Pat Beverly suggested. I've got a video of Lamar Jackson that's going to make you freak out. We'll play it for you. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. We created a segment where Jalen gets to decide what we discuss. It is called Keep It Moving. If you want to discuss the topic, you say hit the brakes. If not, me and Method Man jump in the minivan and keep it moving. We start with Cam Newton getting a little work in with someone you wouldn't expect. Keep moving or hit the brakes. We will hit the brakes and show you Cam throwing to none other than OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr. Why isn't Cam on an NFL team, Jalen?
He should be. And I'll say this. His hair looks great. I don't know if it'll fit in a helmet, but I'll tell you what. There's a guy that's a former MVP, had some injuries the last couple of years. You see where the league is trending with Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson. I still think Cam has a lot left. I think he's going to catapult himself back into the top 10 of quarterbacks in the NFL. A lot of people sleeping on him right now.
Ooh, I like that. Moving on. Someone's trying to catapult themselves into the NFL quarterback discussion, and that is Tua. Keep it moving or hit the brakes?
Keep it moving, man.
We gotta keep moving. You're still hurt. Still hurt from that one. Well, the MVP of the league was getting some work in. It didn't look like Cam. Keep it moving or hit the brakes?
Hit the brakes.
I love beach football, and so does Lamar Jackson. Let's take a look at him and his homeboys on the beach. First of all, great pump fake here. Got him jumping out of his feet. And then he decides to tuck and run because he's Lamar Jackson. And then one of his buddies pushes him into a jet ski. Jalen, if you're Lamar Jackson's homeboy, how do you push the MVP of the league into a jet ski?
How about Lamar Jackson only has one speed? You know, you hear athletes like, I go hard all of the time. This is really going hard all of the time. On the beat. And out there a blur. Imagine that's your homeboy. NFL players can't catch him, and you charge to try to catch him. And then the person that pushed him into the jet ski, that's his real friend. That's his 10 toes down guy. It's like, we playing beach football, and I know you're the MVP and all that, but I'm trying to get you down by all means.
Next, you'll never believe this. The MLB and the MLBPA still haven't come to an agreement. Keep moving or hit the brakes.
Keep it moving.
We keep it moving.
Let's keep it moving.
We keep it moving.
Alvin Kamara did something he has never done before, attended a NASCAR race. Keep moving or hit the brakes.
He's going to have a terrific year this year. Keep up the good fight, Bubba Watson. Keep it moving for now.
We keep it moving. We keep it moving.
Bubba Wallace.
Ja Morant is trying to make some change. Keep moving or hit the brakes.
I love that he's socially conscious, and athletes and entertainers continue to use their voice for change, especially if people that represented a Confederate. Keep it moving for now.
We keep it moving. We keep it moving.
Bryce Harper has a backup plan in case he doesn't play Major League Baseball this season. Keep moving or hit the brakes.
I don't know if the Eagles going to give him a roster spot. He got $300 million. He's not messing up that bread. And he left the Nationals in the World Series. He living his best life. Keep it moving.
We keep it moving.
We will keep it moving. And we'll keep it moving right after this break, where we have a reason why Jokic might no longer be a stretch mark 5. We'll show it to you in just 2 minutes. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen, we have global unrest with the Black Lives Matter movement. We have superstars in the NFL testing positive for COVID-19. And now it is time for some news that matters. Jalen, you know I always call Nikola Jokic, one of my favorite players, stretch mark 5. Well, I'm going to have to rescind that nickname because we have some images of Nikola Jokic. Look at my man. I always say that I look better with my shirt off than Jokic, but Jalen, I'm starting to reconsider. Look at him. What do you think about the new look
put
Jokic?
Some respect on the Joker, all NBA first-team center last year. Gonna eventually be a guy that averages a triple-double in the NBA, revolutionizing how we watch the offense in Denver evolve as they run it through their big man. But I do love your term, stretch mark 5. But it don't apply to him anymore. He ready to ball.
He'll be back. He'll gain it back. Trust me. I do this all the time. He'll gain it back. We'll be back tomorrow at 4. Dan Levitard, highly questionable.
Thank
right
you.
now.
You're far too kind.
甘愿也会哭的情愿，谢谢你让我爱了痛了懂了，我不再纠缠打扰。